Hi there, it's Rob from Onstage Lighting. Welcome to another video on using AutoCAD for theatre drawing. Today we're going to look at some ways in which you can make your drawing up accurately using the line tool. Previously we've understood a bit about the interface, and we've also set up our model space so that we can work in the real world by drawing things in the real world. We've also looked at how to draw shapes accurately, so we should have a better understanding already as to about how you could make something a specific size. Using the line tool today, we're going to use both line and a polyline. Line is basically an in single item, which is between 2 points, so a straight line between 2 points. A polyline is a kind of a line with multiple points in it, so it's like a load of lines joined together. To start with, we're going to be able to draw accurately using Ortho Mode to draw nice lines if you were going to draw walls or bits of staging or stuff that needs to be quite accurate and perpendicular to the drawing, so we're going to use Ortho Mode for that. We're also going to make slightly more complex lines using Polyline. So let's go on over to AutoCAD then. Okay, so I've got a blank drawing here. If you remember, we had a bit of a go with line tool in the last video, and basically the line tool is a single item between 2 points, so 1 point, 2 points, and then that is what a line is. The polyline, which is a slightly different entity altogether, is basically a series of lines that make a single item. Now if I select this item here, you can see I've got a polyline, that's one whole item. My line here between 2 points is a single item. If I draw multiple lines, the way I've got my snaps set up in AutoCAD means that basically when I draw a line, another line starts next to it. But what I've drawn here is not the same as the polyline I've just showed you, because actually if you click on the line itself, you can see that these are individual items and I can delete them and stuff. So it's just important to understand what you're doing when you're drawing a line, and when you do multiple lines one after another, it's important to understand that individually they exist on their own and they're not joined. With a polyline, it's kind of similar looking, but there's no break in the line. It's one single line. Okay, so there's two things we're going to look at to start with. To start with, we're going to want to draw some kind of theatre wall or something a bit complex with some different parts to it, and we're going to use multiple lines to do this. But the other thing is we need it to be perpendicular to the drawing, so we're going to draw stuff so that we want it to be at 90 degrees. Now, if I just draw a line here, if I just draw a line, say, straight up, at the moment, I don't really seem to be able to draw something that's too straight without fiddling around too much and fighting with the software to try and make it be straight up. Obviously, that's not what we want. We want the equivalent of the old drafting using a set square and a T-square to be able to draw straight up and down. Now, in AutoCAD, what that's called is it's called Ortho Mode. And down where your model space selection is, where we looked previously, there's lots of little different snaps and things and different items. And in the Mac version, it's not totally obvious what each thing does. The thing we want is a thing with a 90-degree angle on it, and it's called Ortho Mode. Now, when you click it, if it goes blue, that means it's on. So now, when I draw a line, you can see the line go straight up and down. It will also, if I move the mouse, it will snap to straight across. And there's different ways that you can have this set up, but basically at the moment it's drawing either straight up and down or straight across. So that's a nice line. So basically what we're going to draw to start with is we're going to draw a slightly a series of lines that make up a slightly complex wall shape. So I'm going to start at the bottom of my wall, and the first section I want to draw, and I'm in Ortho Mode, so it's going straight up. The first section I want to draw is 350mm high. So if you remember, start your point, start to draw, type in 350, enter, and it draws you a line. Now the next part of this I want to draw is just a piece of wall that goes across slightly, and it's going to go across 60mm because it's not very big. So my next line is 60mm. Now going back up again, I need to carry on drawing, and this time it's 270mm. Now if I just hit escape and stop drawing, you can see I've drawn this, you know, kind of wall shape here. This is like a brick pier or something. And basically what this is it's 3 individual lines. If you remember what we did, we selected the line tool to start with. We started the point where we wanted to draw, and then we moved on from there. Now the other thing is, I want to carry on drawing here, so I want to be able to start from the point I just finished at. Now, luckily for me, there's a way to help me start at this point exactly. Now in CAD, this is called a snap, and basically it's like a little magnetic thing that basically means that you start to draw. Your cursor gets snapped to the thing at the end of something or the corner of something or things that you want to draw from. And so this particular snap we want here, there's different snaps there, but basically the one we want is object snap, and I've got that turned on at the moment. So it's a square on the bottom little toolbar. It's a sort of square with a point on it, and if it's blue it's turned on. So that means that now when I hover over the end point of that particular item I've just drawn, then my next line will start at that point. Now I'm going to take this back, say 1 meter. And you can see what's happened now is that basically I've got 4 lines, but I started drawing this line, having finished the having finished the line itself. I started this line in exactly the right place using the snap. Now that's a key part of using line, because you want the 2 objects, eventually you'd want to join all these 2 objects to make them into one big long line. And that takes us back to Polyline, because actually in some ways what I should have done really, if I wanted this to be a single object, I should have just drawn this as a polyline, because eventually I might want it to be one single object anyway. There's ways of converting it and changing it and adding it together and stuff, but the other thing to do is, next thing to try out is to have a go at doing a similar thing, only with Polyline this time. So this time we're going to have a go at doing a similar sort of thing, only this time using Polyline. So let's go to the Polyline here, and actually if you wanted to type it into the command line, you can type P-line, and it will give you this where it says P-line, hit enter. So if you start to type in P-line, you'll get the Polyline come up, specify start point. I'm going to start mine at the 0, 0 point on the drawing. Now I'm going to extend it up by 350, enter. Off to the right by 300. Then I'm going to extend my next line up a bit by, say, 250 again, and then all the way back here we're going to go back to 1000. So you see what I've done there is a similar kind of action, only this time I've made a solid object out of it. So there's different ways of doing it, but basically the whole key to this is to start to become comfortable with drawing lines of a particular dimension in a particular direction, and also to use the snap, object snap, and also the Ortho Mode in order to make sure that your lines are at right angles to the drawing. Hope that's been useful. I'll see you soon.